Even before I was a psychology major, I was always fascinated by mental health and people in general. Being 21 years old, our age demographic has had an interesting journey with technology. When we were in elementary school, there was not much more than a house phone, a boxy television set, and a desktop computer shared by the whole family. It wasn't until middle school that I got a phone, and I was so excited even though it only had 5 buttons on it. The full extent of my technology capabilities was using thermal effect on photo booth. Nowadays, children know how to unlock an iPad before they can even say their first words. Since people are now using social media starting at such young ages, I wanted to know the effects that it has on our society. As far as mental health is concerned, there are many negative effects that have been attributed to frequent social media use. When thinking about this idea, I wanted to sit back and reflect and see just how much I use social media throughout the day. And here's a little idea of what that looks like for me personally. Social media has the capability to seriously affect people's mental health. Social media has the potential to lead people to social comparison, resulting in feeling of inadequacy. A study done at the University of Pennsylvania wanted to see if changing the amount of time people spent on social media per day would have an effect on mental health. The experiment had one group who was to limit their total social media use to 30 minutes per day, and another group who was allowed to use their social media as they normally would. They found that after reducing social media use to 30 minutes a day for a few weeks, the students found they were feeling less symptoms of depression, anxiety, and FOMO, also known as fear of missing out, than they had at the beginning of the experiment. One of the pros of social media currently is the movement towards realness. Individual accounts in large companies such as Glossier or Outdoor Voices are using social media to show what real life looks like. Cellulite, acne, no editing, just the real stuff. Although this movement is not extremely widespread yet, I can only hope that it becomes more popular because I genuinely believe that it will help a lot of people who suffer from self-esteem issues when looking at social media, whether they realize it or not. Another con of social media is the fact that hate speech can be very prevalent. In its most benign forms, people control others by writing rude things on their pages, but in its most extreme forms, racial slurs, extreme bullying, and much worse can occur on various social media platforms. In the New York Times article, The Internet Will Be the Death of Us, Frank Brunei discusses the many times that various hate crime perpetrators have used social media websites as a breeding ground for their hate speech. Although these are on less mainstream social media sites such as Gab, this whole idea still calls for concern. I believe a possible solution to this issue would be having both social media users and the people in charge of social media sites be more inclined to report and remove hate speech. I do think that there should still be room for open discussion on social media sites because there is a lot of good that can come from it. In another New York Times article titled A Generation Zer's Take on Social Media, 17-year-old girl Elena discusses the various ways that she believes social media has benefited her life. She discusses the fact that social media has become a place for political issues to be discussed. Although oftentimes, for me personally, this turns into an eye roll after seeing the same person posting over and over again, this does allow people to be exposed to multiple different viewpoints. Social media also has the power to organize social movements such as women's marches and peaceful protest. After doing research on this topic, I believe that the best thing for social media users to do is to reduce their time spent on social media. You don't need to run and throw your phone away or delete your apps because then you could be missing out on the benefits of social media. Rather, try limiting your time spent on social media each day and you could see the possible benefits. Nowadays, apps like Instagram have features that show how much time you spend on the app daily and even provide a feature that allows you to set a reminder when you have been on the app for a certain amount of time per day. Say you were to limit your time on social media to just 15 minutes a day, something that does not sound like much time at all. If you were to do this over the next 20 years, you would find yourself spending roughly 76 of those days on social media. That's a lot of time. Even just in the time that I've been doing this project, I've tried to monitor just how often I've personally been using social media. In doing this, I've really been trying to use it less and less. Something that has been beneficial for me has been turning off my notifications. This way, I don't get distracted or go to apps without even really thinking about it. With that being said, I've been using social media less and less, and it has provided me with much more time to do other things, such as baking, hanging out with my friends, or even just being more present with people. At the end of the day, I think it's evident that social media has the capability to both harm and hurt society and its members, depending on who's using it and the way in which they are using it.